Hey, Darth. I was beginning to wonder if this was going to be a live stream of one today. Newish, John, newish. I got it a couple months ago. I think it's only worked its way into rotation a couple times, though. Things are good. Things are good. Glad to be on the weekend. Garden's coming along nice. The tomatoes, the first of the tomato plants have reached the top of the trellis now. Not a whole lot, but enough to give everything a good drink. They're predicting maybe a kind of a wet spring this year, so that would be good. We could definitely use it. Saw her out this morning. It's kind of overcast today, but it's warm out. So she was out and about a little bit this morning. She's doing well. No, no, nothing started yet. We're going to probably take a little bit of break on the next one, but we got more things kind of brewing right now, kind of on the early pre-production phase. Hey, Susan. I heard there was a tornado that went through Dallas last night. Yeah, yeah, and they keep blaming us and accusing us of being the violent ones. Darth is demanding a treat. Probably need to do that because later on you'll just walk away and go take a nap, won't you? You get your limit on how much. And it usually ends when the treats start when the treats run out, right? You're here allowing yourself to get pet and all that. But the truth is, you'll scatter the second the treats are gone, won't you? Can't even hold it in your mouth, you klutz. Or you knock it out of my finger here. No, no, no new rocks yet. Today is rock day, so we're going over there today. Also, just for the record, I will be canceling next week's live stream because next week is the Rock and Mineral Show, and you know I'm going to that. So One of the times when the vet saw him, they said they weren't really concerned about the fact that he's a little overweight, you know. Oh, count on it. I'll definitely go with the camera and we'll get some stuff. Hey, Mark. Oh man, I would if I could. I just can't count on a good internet connection there. I bought him a treadmill. He'd just sleep on it. Or if you put a motor on it, it'd be like one of those videos of the with the hamster wheel where the hamster gets stuck and the hamster starts going around and around on the wheel. Yeah, only it would be like that, but with bite. Yeah, Kara's going to be there this year. She wasn't last year. Last year was right after she'd moved into the new store, but this year she's gonna actually be there and be an exhibitor. So and it's actually not really exhibitors; it's people that are selling stuff. That's what makes it all so much fun. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, it's one of my favorite bands from back in the day. Oh, definitely gonna shoot the vlog or shoot the vlog at the rock show. I do that every year. That's just an annual thing here. Okay, that's it. Now he'll go take a nap. Well, that's sort of what this is other experts in the rock and mineral. Apparently, it's like a traveling show kind of thing, and they just come to Waco once a year, and these people just go from show to show to show, and that's how they make their living. So it's fun to kind of see other stuff sometimes. Yeah, I was never really into Pokemon. I got a chance to see them once. They did let's say I think they did Lollapalooza one year. I think it was like 92 or something like that. And it was them and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and uh, Red Hot Chili Peppers when they just come out with their big album. So yeah, it was a great show. Alice in Chains was a fun band to see. Oh, I'd never end up joining the rock show because I'm not selling any of my stuff. That's what those people do is they're salespeople. They get stuff from collectors and then bring them to these shows and try and sell them. Never going to do that. Yeah, it was my friend Matt who does the Island Horizon videos back there, and a group of friends that we would go see him with. Saw a lot of the great bands in those days. I don't know if I'd go as far as say connoisseurs, but um, definitely enthusiasts. But sometimes you find these people that have stuff and they're selling it and they don't know anything about it. It's just, ooh, that's a pretty rock. I like to at least know what it is. Yeah, that's probably what I am, Darth, a hoarder. Oh, the ones over there behind me, those are beer bottles I was given by Robert Pollard, the singer of Guided by Voices, or at least I got through because of that. Probably in the most cases, handed to me by the singer or his girlfriend at the time. It wasn't uncommon because Guided by Voices is really well known for the massive amounts of drinking they do on stage. They usually have a cooler filled with beer on stage, and they're pulling from it all night. I don't know if it's that much anymore. I'm sure Bob probably does, but I think a lot of the other people are a little bit more professional musicians now. So um, maybe they have a few of them, but not like slamming them like Bob does, or at least he used to. But it wasn't uncommon for him to just hand bottles into the audience too, and that's where those came from. Those were all handed to me from the audience, or we ended up backstage and was given one by the band or something like that. Um, I don't know if I've got it because what you would get if it was a Hawaiian stuff would be largely it would be largely like lava and that kind of stuff. I don't really have any lava. I do have a few pieces of obsidian, and that's sort of like um, lava. It's volcanic glass. I got a few pieces of that, but I don't think it's from Hawaii. I think the music changed significantly with the sobriety. Because see, in the old days when Guided by Voices first started up, it was Bob and his drinking buddies just get down in their basement and they bang out great rock songs, and they were all drunk and all that, and so that was all part of the fun. As the band evolved and turned into what it is currently, um, it's he got more professional musicians. He has Doug Gillard and Kevin March who were part of the band from way back, but then he brought a couple other musicians in, and he's going, I think, for a more professional sound now. Hello, Danny. How are you? I'm actually about 15 miles from the David Koresh property. I'm in the Waco area. I don't really prefer to go into any more detail, but yeah, I've been to what Mount Carmel a couple of times. In fact, my sister was in town a couple of weeks ago, and we went out there then. But yeah, I did a vlog a few years ago where I went there. Never saw Blue Oyster Cult. That would have been probably a good one. First band I ever saw was Oingo Boingo. Yeah, that's where I live. I live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The Sparks played at my high school one year. No, well, the original property, most of it burned to the ground. The only thing that's there left from the property is the swimming pool. And actually, honestly, there's also a school bus that I guess people were taking refuge in at one point, and I guess the tanks went in there and just destroyed it. But it's still in the ground there, and you can look down and see parts of this bus that were down there. I don't know. Did I take pictures of that? Let me see. Because I don't remember that being there the time before. But I might have taken pictures of that. No, I guess I didn't. No, I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. I know I'm close enough to I know where Torrance is. It's a little north of where I lived. It was a little north of LA. I have some ash from Mount St. Helens. The garden's going great right now, Mark. In fact, the tomato plants, the first of the tomato plants has reached the top of the trellis, and they're all doing really well. The pepper plants are doing really well. They all have flowers on them right now, so it won't be long until they're producing. I'm looking forward to that. I planted all big tomatoes this year. It's not going to be any of these little teeny tiny ones. So hopefully I'll get a great harvest this year. Might even have to teach myself how to do some canning. Yeah, it's back there. Just let's see what. Let me see if I can figure out what the vlog was called here. Log onto my own channel here. Okay, yeah. Just go to the search engine and type Koresh. It's the second one. There's actually two. There's two videos that I did of it because there's one where I went to the compound itself, and the other one where I went to David Koresch's grave. But yeah, just go to the search engine and type Koresh. Oh, that's cool that your volcanic glass is green. That sounds like my moldavite. My moldavite is one of my favorite pieces. It's just one of those things that has a great story behind it. I'll go get it and I'll show it to you. Hold on a second. This is something that I didn't even know what it was. Okay, I'm back. Pull the TV tray back into position here, get myself back into broadcast position here, because that's right, I am a professional. Even got the power cord of my laptop wrapped around my TV tray leg. Okay, yeah, that's my piece of moldavite right there. And that's got a kind of a cool green tint to it too. Let's see if I can show it to you without washing out the camera here. Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to avoid doing here. Yeah, you can see it a little bit there. Let's see if I can get the dimness down here so we're not washing things out so much. Yeah, you can see a nice green now. That's my piece of moldavite. And like I said, I didn't even know what that was until they told me what it was. But basically, what this is this is a piece of soil that turned into green glass as a result of the heat and pressure from a meteorite impact. So I thought that was really cool. Very proud, very great piece of my collection. It isn't lighting up, it's just glass. That's just the light shining through it. But it's still probably one of my favorite pieces. It's on my favorite piece shelf. Let's just put it that way. You can come over here and that top row right there, that's where all my favorite stuff is. Because I figured, that's the place you stand by it and look at it. You don't have to get down on the ground to see it. That's just where the good stuff is. That's that's basically what it is. It's glass that was turned to, or sand that was turned to glass by the heat and pressure of a meteorite impact. Hey, Kenneth, welcome back. Good to see your name again. Yeah, except it's Moldavite, not Moldavite. D instead of T. Hey, Yvonne. No, the guitars actually go back to my Guided by Voices fandom. I got a pretty. If you look down the hall there with all the posters and stuff like that, I have kind of a serious collection of Guided by Voices stuff, and those two guitars are also stuff from the band. The black one is one that a radio station gave away. I guess Guided by Voices was doing an on-air visit, and they all signed the guitar and they gave it away on the air, and the person that bought it didn't want it and turned around and sold it, and I got it. The other one is actually one that I bought from the guitar player, and so that one's really cool because it actually belonged to him. It was played on several albums. He toured with it, And if you look at that little picture just to the left of it, you really can't see it clearly, but that's actually a promotional photograph of the singer of the band holding it. And so that made it all the more valuable. So that one's really cool. I like that one. The bird bath platform came out really well. I'm really happy with it. You know, like I said, that was my first time working with concrete in any real significant way. And the results came out really well. You know, I thought it was a really good idea using the top of that 5 gallon bucket as the form. That worked really well. The only downside there was with that project is I ended up needing more concrete than I thought I had. I bought 50 pounds, figuring that would be enough, but I needed to go back and get another 50 pound. And so far, we're a week. Well, no, not a week. We're probably 4 or 5 days in. That thing's still perfectly flat, for perfectly level. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. That had been something I'd been thinking about for a few months. Oh, let's see. I have a few pieces of pyrite. I have a few amethysts. I have a few quartz crystals. Um, I like fluorite because that's cool because that glows under the black light. Yeah, no sinkage at all right now, and I don't expect there will be because I was basically got down to the point where I was hitting the limestone, and so that's a pretty solid base to build on. And the fact that the walls were perfectly, were nice and solid, not loose material or anything like that. No, that should never settle. Yeah, I can't really play either. I've tried a little bit. I've never really had a musical talent. I prefer listening to it than performing it. I've tried a few things, but yeah, it was just never my thing. Anyone else having buffering problems? I think he just fell in with the wrong woman. That Megan's a nut. I hear the king and queen are going to be in the U.S. tomorrow to visit the president. I wonder if there'll be any no kings protests while the king is here. The Republicans just got to nuke the filibuster and push it through. Because I mean, if the Democrats get back in power, they're going to do it, and then they're going to ram through everything they can. Like a lot of cities in the LA area, there's good parts and there's bad parts. I don't know. I haven't been there much. It's been one of those places you like drive through. Big industrial area, I believe. Let's go look down on it in the map here. Hold on. That's why we have the internet, right? There we go. Yeah, that's sort of what I thought. Hold on, let's cut away here so we can all look at this. Okay, so this area right here, this is Torrance. It's right by LAX. I used to live, uh, let's see, over here somewhere. Let's see, that's so up around. Yeah, I used to live up here around Brea. So yeah, it was a good like I don't know, 20, 30 miles from me. But yeah, there's good areas and there's bad areas in it. Seemed to me there was like a lot of industry in the area. The internet isn't cooperating with me here right now. But yeah, see, that's what I remember right there. Oh, come on, work with me here. So much lag on this right now. This is what I remember was a lot of like oil wells and oil tankers and stuff like that. Anyway, not getting good results with that. So I had a bass at one point. I gave it to my nephew, and I tried playing it a little bit, but I was never any good at it. No, it's right next to the ocean. I think most of my experience going through Torrance is when we were kids. One of those oil tankers, they would paint like a giant pumpkin every Halloween. They'd call it the Great Pumpkin, and people would drive around from miles around to see it. And we used to do that. We'd drive into Torrance and look at the Great Pumpkin. That was really my experience with Torrance. I guess you could start to sort of say it was foothills where I lived in California. It was just kind of the beginning of the foothills. Yeah, I went to a lot of the nature places, including Redlands. I would say it was probably 10 miles to Disneyland from my house. Probably closer when I was a kid and living in Garden Grove. I remember when I was a kid, we could hear the fireworks at Disneyland from my house. And actually, in my house in Placentia, you could get up on the roof and you could see them. No, actually, ironically, I bought the house that I had in California. When I bought it, I worked 2 miles from where my apartment was, and the apartment was just down the hill from the house. And so, if I'd stayed with the company, I would have, it would have been nice. It would have been a 2 mile drive to work every day. But between the time where I bought the house and when I moved into the house, I took another job and ended up driving an hour each way. So no, I didn't move after that until I left the state. Well, when I worked at Disneyland, it was kind of cool. There were a lot of things that we got to do that maybe people didn't generally get to do. Um, for instance, I used to get to watch the fireworks every night from Tom Sawyer Island. Tom Sawyer Island is usually closed after dark, but we did a show there on Tom Sawyer Island called Phantasmic, and I worked that for a while. And I would always get on the back of the Mark Twain. That was the riverboat, and watch the fireworks from there. Best seat in the house. Yeah, I was pretty quiet in Jordan's videos. I didn't really interact that much. I was just that guy standing in the background. I may very well have been a lifer at Disney, but it wasn't meant to be. I'm much happier where I am. It was the best choice I ever made because it would have been really, really hard to keep up with the house payment anyway. And I would have been driven crazy already by how nuts things have gone on at Disneyland. It's much worse. It was bad when I was there, and it's much worse now. So I got out at the right time. I'm very happy about that. Boy, it sure looks like rain outside here. Hang on, let me look at this here. Didn't see anything in the forecast about rain. Yeah, no, I don't see anything, but it just looks like it out there. Well, the politics were getting to me, even when I was there. I'd been talking for a long time about leaving the state. That's why it's just easier for me to talk to the camera, Mark, rather than having to try and dictate and hope the voice recognition gets it right. Actually, the HOA wasn't that much of an issue with me. They were pretty benign. Actually, the truth is, I was on a part of the HOA team there from the beginning until almost when I left, because uh, I got in there and I didn't want to. I didn't want. I'd heard all these horror stories about HOAs. I didn't want that to happen to this one, so I kind of got involved and tried to act like a moderating force, and they never really got too bad. And they took pretty good care of the property. They kept everything up, and there was a pool, and there was a rec area, and there was uh, you know barbecues out there that you could have grills and stuff like, or barbecue parties and stuff like that. So they did good job, and it wasn't outrageously expensive. I think at the end I was paying like $140 a month, and I thought it was worth it. But I've heard of the horror stories from HOAs. Wanted to make sure that didn't happen here. I guess so. I guess they've got stuff going. I don't really follow what's going on in Disney anymore. But I still know a few people who work there that you are on my Facebook friends list, and I still hear about stuff. Yeah, there's two leads in the department that I work in on my shift. Me and another person. The other person is also from California. In fact, she used to work at Disney too. My boss can't get that through his head that happened. That just breaks his brain. Malls aren't doing very well anymore, Kenneth. There's only really one here, and it's half empty. There's one in Temple that I hear of every once in a while that I visited a couple times. It's trying all the time to figure out ways to bring business in because half the stores there are empty. It's really sad. Yeah, we're doing really well on rain this year. Yeah, look who's back. But that's okay. We've been kind of short of rain for the past couple of years, so it's nice. Right? You like the rain. No, actually, you don't like the rain because when it's thundering, you go and hide in the bathtub, don't you? Yes, you do. Yeah, I just broke that secret, didn't I? I told the world that. Told them your deepest, darkest secret that you go and hide like a little girl in the bathroom, in the bathtub, whenever it thunders. I don't know if he's bothered as much by the sound or the fact that everything vibrates. Yeah, well, that's it. Mall of America has a theme park in the middle of it. And it's enough of an attraction that people come from miles around to see it. The malls that don't have real big attractions, those are the ones that are hurting. Yeah, I think I remember that. I went there a couple times because my uncle lives in Bloomington, which is where Mall of America is. So I've visited a few times. Not since I vlogged, because I haven't been to Minnesota since I've started vlogging. That would maybe be fun to do, though. I know my dad and I went to Minnesota a number of years ago and got GPS coordinates of all of the family members, cemetery locations and stuff like that. That would be a fun vlog to go to all those places again. Visit my grandparents, great grandparents, aunts, uncles. Yeah, malls really hit their peak in the 80s and 90s, and that was pretty much it. Got wiped out by the internet. Good morning, Gene. I used to drive by the Puente Hills Mall all the time. I think I went there with Jordan once too when he vlogged it. Yeah, I used to enjoy wandering around malls. They were just fun. It was, you know, kind of a fun place to go. Mall used to be a good place to go when you get a Sears in every mall. Second Sears went, that was the end of it. I miss Sears. Well, a lot of the malls now are kind of trying to turn into like theme parks. The one near us has a big one of the big anchor stores is now filled with like a big giant arcade. But then what do we have? We have a Dillard's and we have a J.C. Penney, and I think that's all we have in there right now. And then all the little stores. And zombies roaming around in yours. I saw that movie. One of the things I do like about the mall here in Waco is they got a cool record and DVD store. You don't find many of those anymore. Usually now if you want a DVD or a CD, you got to go to Amazon or something like that. And it's actually two parts. There's one part of it is like bookstore, and one part of it is the record store, record and videos. And they got like some video games and stuff in there, and some vinyl if you're into that. Yeah, there's a Bath and Body Works at ours too, and a Spencer's Gifts. I like Spencer's Gifts because that's a good place to get incense and stuff like that. No, she's sort of in a little strip mall. Oh, come on here. Cooperate with me, Google. I gonna kind of give you a little chance to see the area here. Let's see here. Get down to Street View here. Where are we? Okay, there. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, okay, we'll cut away to this so you can see this. So this is a little strip mall that she's in here. And so it's got this funny little store in there, but you can see Gallery 11 right there. Skellington's Curiosities. I guess that's husband and wife team that have like a lot of like occult stuff and stuff like that. So they're good friends with Gallery 11. Let's see, little pop store. I think that's a barber shop. Yeah, I don't think that's there anymore. I don't know. Little restaurant, or that's a massage place. It's funny you can see the Google truck in the reflection of the window there. Oh wow, that's an old picture. That's before Gallery 11 was in there. That's weird. That's fun. That's funny about them because you can October 2015, huh? Okay, so that's yeah, okay, that's 20 years ago. That's why. That's weird. You're out here in the street and you look at it and then you can see everything here. But you get in there in the parking lot there and everything changes. Anyway, we're done with this nonsense here. I know. I remember the Sears catalog too. That was a big thing, especially around Christmas. I've heard about some of those houses you could buy off Sears. Yeah, I used to go to the Westminster Mall in Westminster, California. That was a big one. The Huntington Beach Mall was a big one. Uh, Newport Beach Mall was a great one. South Coast Plaza was a great one. Wouldn't want to be the Amazon person delivering the concrete house, so that's sort of the reason I like a house that was built in the 70s. This house is in pretty good shape, considering the fact it's like 50 years old. And, yeah, I found a few little issues to deal with, but it's in pretty good shape. That's what I missed most about Sears was Craftsman tools. Yeah, I know Lowe's sells them now, but I'm boycotting Lowe's, so gotta find another source. I think I gotta go directly to the source. I think you still go to like craftsman.com or something like that. Yeah, that was my soundtrack album for I don't know 3 or 4 years. Around the time that album was big, I was big into the grunge movement. Saw most of the big bands, including Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Screaming Trees. Pulled out the Screaming Trees album recently. It's been a long time since I heard that. Temple of the Dog, another great one. Mud Honey. I got a Cure album, I think. Never really got into the Smiths that much. Never really got that much into the Gothic movement. But I really like the grunge movement. Sonic Youth was great around that time. Huge fan of Nirvana, yeah. We used to have a regular here that actually was friends with Nirvana. Yeah, that was kind of the way I did it too, Mark. If I needed a tool, it was a Craftsman tool. All my best tools are Craftsman. I've got a lot of Craftsman tools still, and they still hold up and they still do their job very well. I've never had to trade into one of my Craftsman tools, that's for sure. Yeah, Kenmore, that was another good brand. I bet you can still see the house that I grew up in on Zillow too. I liked REM a lot. Kind of lost interest in them when Peter Buck switched from guitar to mandolin though. But the early stuff, yeah, all the way up to I think Automatic for the People. I kind of lost interest in that at that point. No, I never really got U2. Every song sounded the same to me. I had one or two of their albums, but I wasn't as big a fan of theirs as I was of REM. Yeah, I never had a bit of problem with any of my Craftsman tools. I think I drove through Stockton once. I know I went through Fresno when I came to California a couple years ago to see my mom that one time. He didn't really talk that much about whether he liked Austin or not. Austin's a little too much like a big city for me. I'm much happier in Waco. And they seem to like Waco, so that was cool. And there's things we can go visit next time they come. I'm still laughing at the fact that my brother-in-law was so fascinated with house prices here. Because I told him what I paid for this place, and he can't believe that. I haven't heard a wedding date yet. Yeah, we'll figure it out. The guest bedroom's there if anybody wants to use it. It's kind of hard to do, to sleep a whole family here though with this place. This place is really geared towards me and maybe one other person or something like that. I mean, I could sleep more if I had to because the sofa here is a bed. There's a queen size bed in the bedroom. This is a queen size bed. I got like an air mattress that's fairly comfortable. That could be a bedroom, so, or a mattress too. So whatever. You could put someone in the storm shelter. That's true. Yeah, I think that was like the worst Indiana Jones movie ever. But I always thought this guy was kind of cool. So he's not actually crystal; he's just made out of plastic, but he's still pretty cool. He looks good on the light. The flashing light—that's just my lights that go around the door jamb there. I thought Soundgarden was great. Yeah, they were a good band. They have a few good albums. I was big into grunge, though. That was a big thing at that time. Probably a little too old to be listening to that, but that's okay. Yeah, I had a Best of Eagles album. I was never as much into them. No, I don't really do physicals that much. It isn't really that important for me. It's not like there's anyone depending on me except for Bite. Into the World is a good REM song. I gotta admit, I haven't really pulled out REM in a long time. I don't know. I got five or six of their albums, I think. Stand is another good song by REM. Yeah, when it comes to playing albums, I like to just play stuff that I have in my own collection. I don't really listen to the radio anymore. I don't have any, satellite radio stations or anything. It's just the stuff in my own collection. And there's a few choices there. I don't even pay attention to anything that's in the theaters anymore. I haven't been in a movie theater. Definitely haven't been in the movie theater since I lived here in Waco, and well before moving here too. Yeah, see, Man on the Moon was kind of getting to the point where, like I said before, Peter wasn't playing guitar anymore. I have some rare vinyl too. And the funny thing is, I don't even have a turntable. When did he stop? I don't know. It was after. I know it was automatic with the people was already almost all mandolin. Um, I don't know. I haven't pulled, like I said, I haven't pulled out an REM album in a long time. Why did he stop? I think he did one song where he played mandolin and he just liked the sound of that and never went back. In fact, I had a couple of those albums at one point, loaned them to a friend, and they never returned them. And it's like, oh well. I think Automatic for the People was one of them. I think it just turned the band into more of an easy listening band. Top two favorite concerts I've ever been to. I think the Electrifying Conclusion by Guided by Voices was pretty amazing. Um, it'd be hard to pick one other because it depends on kind of genre. I mean, Nirvana was great, Soundgarden was great. Um, I saw Frank Black once, that was great. Breeders were great. Kiss was great. Paul McCartney is still somebody I wouldn't mind seeing if I had a chance. Electrifying Conclusion by Guided by Voices went for nearly 4 hours. Yeah, when I'm 64, that's a good song. Yeah, I recently heard that too, Kenneth. And I think The Simpsons made a joke of that once too. I think on one of the episodes, I think Bart Simpson fooled the organist at church into playing the song, and the pastor identified it as "In the Garden of Eden" by I. Ron Butterfly. That was back when the Simpsons were still funny. The doors, but they were closed. I saw Jethro Tull once. That was good. Yeah, I never saw Michael Jackson. I was more into the Jackson Five, I think, than Michael Jackson himself. I have a couple of his albums, but that's it. Never was a huge push to go see him. Yeah, I got like five massive trees on the property that drop leaves every year, so I know what you're talking about, Yvonne. Never saw Ringo. Queen. Now, there's a band I would love to have seen, but not with the new guy they got as the headliner with Freddie. Freddie was a genius. Yeah, yeah, at Wembley, definitely. Okay, probably it didn't come through, Yvonne, because I have my website set up to block links. Mamas and the Papas, that's another band I might have enjoyed seeing. Yeah, I was never really into the soundtrack from Flash Gordon. There was a point that Freddie's music started going downhill a little bit. I think that whole Radio Gaga era, that was kind of a loss. The Flash Gordon era. There's some of but the earliest stuff, the first album, Queen 2. Queen 2 is my favorite album. Jazz, Day of the Races, Night at the Opera. Simon and Garfunkel, that's one I would have enjoyed seeing too. Yeah, I had too much problem with people posting porn links on my channel a few years ago, so I just blocked all links. Danny Elfman was amazing. I saw Oingo Boingo a few times. In fact, I met his brother Richard. He and Richard produced a movie before Oingo Boingo was a thing called Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. I never saw ZZ Top. I have their one big album, Eliminator. No, the link got blocked, Gene. Like I said a while ago, I intentionally set it up so to block internet links because people were posting porn sites and stuff like that. Never saw the Moody Blues. Never saw AC/DC either. I don't know, AC/DC, I could only kind of deal with them in kind of small doses. I mean, I know that Rhonda says that her daughter Jessica is really into AC/DC, so that's kind of a funny image, I think. I didn't really start going to concerts that much until the really early '80s. But then that kind of opened the floodgates, and I went to a lot. I think I got most of my ticket stubs. Let me go get my ticket stubs. We'll run through the list here. That might be kind of fun. Good way to kill some time, right? All right, let's see what we got here. Get back into broadcast position here. Oh yeah, Rocky Erickson. That was one that I went to just recently. Jordan was way into him and recommended that one. Went to that one. That was great. Baseball game. Jordan had to see. I think that was probably when we went to spring training one year, and the Cubs were there, and we saw them play. That was kind of fun. Let's see, what is this? Orange County Fairgrounds. Oh, that's a good one. Island Femmes. That was a great band. You ever get a chance, go see them. There's my Breeders ticket. 2001. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Marilyn Manson. That was a freak show. It was Marilyn and Hole opened up for him. So got those two bands I wanted to see, Hole and Marilyn Manson. That was a great show. Let's see. Okay, that was just a festival, the Inland Invasion. Went to that a few times. Let's see. Oh, Breeders again. That's right. I guess we did see him twice. Let's see. Boingo Boingo, 1985. Let's see. That was a festival, Lollapalooza in 1996. So that was way, way late. That was a good one. Ozfest, that was a good one too. I think we saw, because Ozzy performed, and let's see who else was there. I think Blink 182 was there. There were several bands that we saw that were really good. Oh, Marilyn Manson again. That one must be the one with Hole because that one actually has Hole on the ticket. So I guess I saw them twice. Don't even remember who that was. That's a good one. The Residents, definitely worth a look. The Residents again. Saw them a couple times. Another Lollapalooza. That was Lollapalooza 93. I think that was the year we saw, who was it? Primus. I think we saw Primus at that one because it was this big reservoir that had been drained. Okay, there's REM. So I saw them once. Let's see. No. Yeah, there's Jethro Tull. 1996. King Crimson. That was a good one. Robert Fripp. Let's see. What is that? I can't read it. Let's see if I can read it on the screen here. Irvine Meadows. Yeah, I can't read that one. Oh, that's Oingo Boingo. Lollapalooza 92. So that would have been the year that it was Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that was a great one. Another Oingo Boingo, 1989. Prong at the Whiskey. There's an interesting story about that one because I got invited to that one through work. It turns out there was a band called Course of Empire that we had made a CD for, and they wanted to hide a track on one of their CDs. The way you do it used to be, you'd put like 10 minutes of silence and hide the track. Well, they didn't want to do that. They wanted to come up with some other way to do it. And I suggested something that had never been done before, and to my knowledge, still hasn't been done before, where we hid the track before the beginning of the disc, and you put the player in and put disc into the player, and then you have to back into the song. And as a result of that, I got invited to see that band Course of Empire perform, and they were opening for Prong. So that was that show. Let's see. Sonic Youth, that's a good one. Let's see, what else have we got here? Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, that was one that Jordan got me into. Loudest band I've ever seen in my life. Let's see. And then we started getting to the point where you just print out your own tickets now. Let's see, what is that? Oh, Kiss, the one and only. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what I got. Yeah, that was a good waste of time, right? All right, I'm back to you now. All these conversations going on here. I don't even know what anyone's talking about here. Got to get back into the conversation here. Okay, let's look up this address here. All right, well, let's put it on here, see what we got. Is that the house we're talking about? It's a pretty high neighborhood, too. Bunch of little modest houses. Beer makes me happy too, Kenneth. I think it's sad sometimes when these old, beautiful houses get torn down. But yeah, Oakland is not a good town to be in. Oakland's a pretty seriously nasty city at this point. Has been for a long time too, I think. I gotta look in on the house my parents lived in when I grew up. Let's see if we can find that one here. Okay, yeah. It's the house I grew up in. That window right there by the door, that was my bedroom. That one right there. Hasn't changed much. They've kept it pretty much just the way it was. That little shed in the backyard, that's new. Now they still got my mom's SUV. My mom sold her Escalade to the next neighbors. And she retired, moved to moved to Sacramento, the Folsom, and I still have it. So yeah, that was I grew up in. Actually, it was a 4 bedroom. Good seeing you, Darth. See you next time. Remember, I won't be here next week because next week is the Rock and Mineral Show. So put it on your calendars. No live stream next week, but we'll pick it up the week after. Hopefully, I'll have some great rocks to show you. Door Lips, is that like a cover band that covers the doors and the Flaming Lips? I don't know, maybe. It is sort of strange to walk around the neighborhood where I uh, grew up. All the houses are sort of the same but different. That's true. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel the same because I hardly know any of the people in the neighborhood anymore. They've all moved on or died. Ah, yes, forced busing, another wonderful idea from the 60s and 70s. I remember that too. You mean the Flaming Lips? Never heard the Kentucky Headhunters. It's funny, the Flaming Lips were a band that I was aware of back when I worked at the CD factory because they were on the Warner label. And so they'd come through, the albums would come through from time to time. But I was never really paid that much attention to them. But picked up a few copies of albums as gag gift Christmas presents and gave them away. And then Jordan kind of got me into them and was like, oh, yeah, they're actually kind of cool. Jordan actually bought me my first Flaming Lips album, an album called Zyreka. He said I'd enjoy it because it was it was an album that was supposedly recorded octophonic and it was recorded and it was released on four different albums. The point was you're supposed to get four players and 4 CD players, each one CD with the CDs in it, and press play at the same instant on all 4 of them. And it gave you this octaphonic sound because all the different stuff was coming from the different speakers. It was really amazing. We did it once. I've never done it since. Yeah, that's what I seem to remember hearing about him, Mark. I've heard of them. I've just never heard them. Yeah, I guess he's been doing his cruise theme lately. I don't know. That's sort of what Jordan does though on his videos though. He'll do things for a while and then he'll move on to something else. And that's I think kind of keeps it interesting. You never really know what you're gonna get. 'Cause I remember it used to be like old Hollywood, and then it was filming locations, and then it was international travel, and then like roadside attractions were a thing for a while. Now he's doing cruises. For the Flaming Lips, you mean? Let me go get the albums and show you what I have. Okay. A lot of this stuff is stuff I got from Jordan. At one point, when he was still living in that apartment that he lived in when he was first started vlogging, at one point he would like downsize stuff, and so he had a whole bunch of CDs that he wasn't listening to anymore, and he gave them to me, and a lot of them were Flaming Lips albums. So I don't know. That's a good album. That's called Soft Bulletin. That's a good Flaming Lips album. That's worth looking at. That's just a single, a best of. Let's see. War with the Mystics. That's a good Flaming Lips album. In fact, Ironically, somehow I got two of those. And it looks like you get two of these too. Holy cow. Two copies of single art. Do you realize? Seem to be different covers too. That's odd. And that's that Zyrika disc I told you about. It's the 4 CD thing. So you put them all in, you play them all simultaneously. So yeah, those are the two I would recommend. War with the Mystics and what was the other one? The Soft Bulletin. So those are the ones you want to check out. He's got this one here, which is that one's relatively new. I got that one because Jordan and I saw the Flaming Lips a year or two ago when they were here in Texas, and this was the album they were touring on. I don't know. I've listened to the album a couple times. It's all right. It's kind of depressing. The whole album is about dying and taking drugs. So I don't know. Didn't get into that one, but those other two are really good. Mars Attacks. That's one of my favorite goofy horror sci-fi movies. Actually, a friend of mine from work recommended the Toxic Avenger series, and so I picked up a 4 disc version of that off of Amazon. Been watching that. That's just pretty much what you'd expect it to be. I like some of those goofy comedy sci-fi things. I remember listening to Dr. Demento when I was a kid. That was a lot of those funny little novelty songs. It's going to be at the Lee Lockwood Museum in Waco next Saturday and Sunday. So definitely go into that. Looking forward to it. I'm actually really looking forward to this one now because I want to. Now I think I know a little bit more about some of the stuff that's out there, and would really like to find some really amazing pieces. So looking forward to that, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, I remember Wolfman Jack too. No, no live stream next week. I'm going to be at the Rock and Mineral Show, but I'll have some great rocks to show you the next week, hopefully. And I'll definitely vlog the Rock and Mineral Show, so you'll get to see that. Get to see Kara again, maybe. Thank you, Gene. I hope I do. It's going to be a weird couple of weeks in terms of rock acquisitions because today is go to the rock store and visit them today. Then it's the Rock and Mineral Show next week, and then we're back to the rock store the week after. So, gonna be a lot of rock in the next couple weeks. Yeah, people can be pigs sometimes, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we're kind of winding this one down, Yvonne. Yeah, I agree with you, Kenneth. I was a huge fan of Letterman when he was on the air, Carson, Leno to some extent, but it's really gone downhill since then. Yes, I'll definitely vlog the show. And Kimmel's a pothead. I actually happen to know that for a fact. Anyway, I think we'll leave that on that positive note. I'll see you next time, 2 weeks from now. Like I said, next week I'm at the Rock and Mineral Show, but we'll see you the week after that. Thanks for watching. Had a good time today. I'll see you next time. Good night.